Yeah. To be honest, it's good because whenever a revert comes to Islam, this is something a lot of people can relate to, and or even born Muslims, because sometimes their family, their own parents can be harsh. Like you see their own parents telling them, cut your beard off, don't wear the hijab. So this is something I think both sides, reverts and diverts face. I call them diverts. Diverts are born Muslims. You know, they diverted, but they came back. And reverts, obviously, they never had Islam in their life. But the thing is, both of them, some of them go through it, but obviously a lot of times it's reverts. So, for example, like Brother Isa, may Allah have mercy on him. I have to give him as an example. He was a beautiful brother, and I found out that later on, that I found out some family members didn't like him praying at home, and he would pray Fajr in the garden.
Wow.
And when I heard that, I wanted to cry, because I was like we know what kind of beautiful brother he is. You get it? But to know that, sorry man, well, I just just thinking about Aki, you're not allowed to pray at home, and you go to the garden and pray. That touched me so much, Aki. Every time I remember him, I'm like, wow. Like he could have easily said, you know what? We look for excuses like, oh, yeah, Allah will forgive me. My family's not letting me. Let me just stand here. He got out to the garden and he prayed Fajr. So, when I see this and I hear stories where brothers or sisters, where I've heard stories where they've been spat in their face while they're praying, and it's so sad. But at the same time, for example, some people would look and be like, okay, oh, your parents are evil, your mom. Maybe, not necessarily. For example, with me, like my mom, yes, my mom was a bit apprehensive, a bit scared. She still, she did have like bad vibes against Muslims. Yes, like that's still there. But that's because of what's been experienced. My dad was more harsher. Do I blame him in the context? Not really, because at the end of the day, it's what he's seen. And sadly, this is what we've portrayed. And when I mean we, like the Muslims in Turkey, the persecution that they went through, they see Muslims and Islam as oppressors. This is how they see it. And that's what they've lived through. So whenever I say to my dad about this verse or that verse, he says to me, you can bring me whatever verses you like, but you can never take away from me what I went through. That's a personal, emotional feeling that we're emotional beings. So sometimes what I realize is that if the damage has been caused by the Muslims' external actions, I have to reshape that with my personal actions. So if he's seen bad Muslims doing bad things, I have to show him good Muslims doing good things. So that's how I try to counteract that. My mum obviously has always defended me, has helped me to, if I'm praying Salah, she will tell me if my dad's come in, or give me like your dad's out. She covered for me. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Even though she had a couple of years ago when I first came, she had bad thoughts of like Islam and Muslims, etc. Not all, because she had some Muslim friends, but she was much better. But my dad obviously was more harsher, hated it, didn't like it. Yeah, and it enraged him. He just hated the fact that I was a Muslim, and we've done this on many videos,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But one time I remember we sometimes you see with reverts, they'll realize this. Like sometimes I see signs of hope in my dad.